Well, good evening to all of our Diamond devotees, and welcome to another episode of the Baseball Bums. I am Benny Scala, a.k.a. The Player. You may know me from that historical adult film, The British Are Coming. And if we're your bums,
You should have done it in a British accent like Lennon or something.
right, the British are coming. And if we are bums, well, then I am joined by my fellow Lord of Lollygag, the great Jimmy Farrow. Jimmy, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. That was a slapstick enough of a description for me. That works.
That's kind of British, right? Lord of Lollygag?
Yeah. Them Brits are quite witty and clever.
I guess, And speaking of other countries, so give me 1 second here. So I have
Other countries.
this is a Chi-Chi's Mexican mudslide.
All right.
And the reason why I have this is because I heard from our friend Michael Monti earlier today, and he informed me that the Monti and the Pharaoh YouTube channel Mike has always wanted to be number one in a country. So as of today, we are number one in Zambia. Zambia it's not a little tiny postage stamp. It does have a population of 21 million. But not only are we number one in Zambia for wrestling, we are number one for sports. And I think we're in the top 50 for all podcasts. So, and we are charting in, I believe it's at least a half dozen countries all over the world. So
not bad for a bunch of schlubs that have been watching wrestling since the 70s,
yep,
huh?
Absolutely. So
not bad at all.
Cheers to Monti and Pharaoh.
And Zambia. Don't forget Zambia.
Cheers to Zambia.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Let's find a few more cheers so this show gets completely off the rails. Keep going.
Right, exactly. So, Jimmy, what we're going to do, same thing we did last week. Going to throw out some baseball stuff out there, and then we, the baseball bums, will give our highly esteemed opinions. Are you ready?
Sure.
All right. Well, here we go. So, at the risk of, I'm going to throw a slide about this guy at the risk of being called a homer. But to quote Richard Milhouse Nixon, who cares? So, I am not a crook. But it's only 19 games into the season. But Aaron Judge is hitting 400, 7 homers, 22 ribbies. Now, my point isn't that he's hitting 400, but, there's only a handful of guys who 19 games into a season are hitting over 400 with, homers and RBIs. So my point is that this guy seems to be getting better with age. What do you say? I mean, last year, he was up until last year, he was known as a great power hitter, but then he goes and hits 322 last year in 158 games, and he's off to a 400 start.
He's finally, with all the Ohtani, he's finally being recognized as the most prolific power hitter in today's game, which is what he is. Postseason's another animal. He needs to overcome that demon for sure. But during the regular season, if this man is healthy, this is the most lethal power hitter in baseball and has been for years. It always comes down to his health. Now, I do find the spike in batting average interesting. So to answer your question, yes, he is getting better. As long as he stays healthy, who knows? He could probably get even better. You look at his build, and he's just a freak. He's a freak, but the reason why I believe Aaron Judge hits for high average when most power hitters do not have a high average, let's face it. I saw a stat that said that only 6 teams currently have a batting average of over 260 all of last season. 20 years ago, it was over 20 that had a 260 batting average.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, people don't hit for average. The fact that he's hitting for average, high average, reflects his personality. He's not a impatient hitter. I know the postseason he has struggled terribly, but if we look at his body of work for regular season, it's ridiculous. We haven't seen this sort of power in our lifetimes. I'm really going to spell it out for you. Reggie Jackson did not have this kind of power. Okay? He didn't. He didn't hit these kind of home runs. He doesn't have the American League record for most home runs in a season. The closest we ever saw it in our lifetime is A-Rod when he was winning those 2 MVPs with the 50-plus home run seasons.
Right.
Judge is about to give us, I think, season number 5 of that kind of thing. And the batting average increasing is as the maturity increases. He was just named captain of Team USA. He is got to get that ring because without that ring, I can't fully say what I really want to say. He's doing a Jeter as far as his leadership, his personality, his class, how he handles the media. He's a huge thumbs up as a human being. And I think that's why this particular specimen, who's a power hitter, when most power hitters won't even hit 260, is hitting three something because of his composure. He's getting better because he's figured out more and more. How do I remain on this level of greatness when pitchers are always finding out what your weaknesses are? You got to get smarter too. Pete Rose broke that down in that awesome video about the 6 different things that a hitter goes through and how to address them. And Judge has obviously learned how to address them. There is nothing more precious than a power hitter that hits for average. Ted Williams, Joe DiMaggio. You know, in our lifetime, he's much more modest. But Bernie, with his 3,100 and a 300 batting average, beautiful thing.
We're looking like, you got to go back to Mickey in the mid-50s when he won the Triple Crown to see what the Judge is putting up those kind of numbers, right?
Well, A-Rod put them up too. Nobody ever talks about A-Rod's 2 MVPs. He put those numbers up. He had 50-something home runs one of those 2 MVP seasons. The other season, he might have had 50 also. I can't remember. I just know that those were monstrous seasons, those 2 A-Rod MVP seasons. When it was happening, I thought to myself, so this is what it must have been like to watch a truly prolific hitter before our time, like a DiMaggio or a Williams or whoever that had a great batting average and power.
Right. I mean, I could see the guy if he's healthy, a big if, of course, right? But if he's healthy, I could see him winning the Triple Crown.
Could. He really could. I mean, would it be outlandish to think that he would hit 340 this year? I mean, he could.
He played in 158 games last year, and he hit 320. I mean, only very healthy. I mean,
and he's a right-hander. Let's hammer home what we've always said about Joe DiMaggio's 325 lifetime batting average. Right-handers don't do this.
Right.
Kirby Puckett got in the Hall of Fame for, people who don't think Kirby was a Hall of Famer. That makes me chuckle, first of all. But to have a 318 lifetime batting average as a right-handed hitter is not easily done. And Kirby Puckett had that average. It was like, how do you not put this? Plus his postseason performances. Let's be real here.
Right.
It's
very
true.
Short list.
It's true if you take Kirby's numbers and put them next to Donnie Baseball's numbers, Mattingly, that they're almost identical. And that's further proof that Donnie should be in too. Not that one should be in and one shouldn't be, or that both should be out. You know what I mean? Because I've heard that Kirby shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
Donnie's got the average, and Donnie's got the truckload of Gold Gloves.
He's also got a 300 plus lifetime batting average. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was 311. Was he 307 or 311?
307. 307 with over 200 career home runs,
right.
1,099 RBIs, 307, and how many Gold Gloves? 9 or something? I don't know. A lot.
9 Gold Gloves, and don't forget the MVP and a batting title, right?
Yep, absolutely. For a 6-year stretch, he was the best player in baseball, and everybody knows it. But you know what?
The only thing he doesn't have is a ring.
And the rest of the numbers do count. They're like, yeah, he had 6 good years. What else did he have? I'll tell you what else he had. As he struggled after the post-back injuries, he still hit 300. People are forgetting that. He hit 304 one of those seasons post-back surgeries where he no longer had the power, but he could still hit for average. And then when he got his one chance in the playoffs, he hit for power and average. Donnie's a Hall of Famer. Enough.
Yeah. No argument whatsoever.
Yeah, stop.
Yeah.
Well, you're right to get Hernandez and Steve Garvey in there, too. Yeah, that's the way I feel about it. Too bad. All
right, Jimmy. Last week we did a very nice segment about greatest brothers in baseball history. And so let's do fathers and sons, shall we? We have a couple to choose from. So let's.
And sons.
You got.
What, wait a minute. Like John Bonham from Led Zeppelin and Jason Bonham? Like something like that?
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. Did you know that Ringo, on the subject of father and sons, did you know that Ringo Starr got fired from The Who this week? Richard Starkey, Zach Starkey, I should clarify. Ringo Starr's son, Zach Starkey, has been in The Who for like decades now. And oddly enough, Keith Moon taught him drums and bought him his first kit. See, Ringo and Keith were very tight in real life. And Zach became a drummer, and oddly enough, he can play. Keith Moon was always considered one of the greatest drummers, while the Ringo critics would always slam Ringo's drums for being simple. Yet in the Bloodline, there's a wrestling tie-in. In the Bloodline, Zach Starkey had great drumming capabilities and filled the role of the Who's drumming, which is technically Keith Moon, and he did it. He was great for years. Roger Daltrey's going deaf and blind, it's been reported, and fired him because he thought he was drumming too loud. So a very Starkey took the high road, Ringo's son, in a statement afterwards. But Daltrey, I don't understand. If you're going deaf and blind, there's better ways to dismiss the son of a legend that served you very well for like 20 years. Zach Starkey did a great job playing drums for the Who. He's great. I'm not just saying that because it's Ringo's kid. He's a great drummer. You know, he took the high road, but you know, those Brits, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, as you were saying, talk to me about fathers and sons.
Father and son. We start with the Griffeys, senior and junior. Ken,
why don't you give me your take? What say you?
All right, sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously junior's numbers speak for themselves. 630 home runs, Hall of Fame. Great outfielder. I mean, he did it all. Ken Senior, I would say not a great ball player, but like very good ball player, right? I think his career average was, I believe, 296, close to 300. Didn't get he did have the longevity. I don't think he was healthy all the time, but played on a couple of, World Series champions. Solid ball player. I mean, not Hall of Fame, Hall of Very Good, but, and you got Ken Jr. is off the charts.
Very talented father and son combo that did get to play together, correct?
In Seattle, yes, for I think 1 year.
Got to play together. Let's talk about Dad. Dad was very, very good.
Yes.
There's a hall of very, very good, and Dad was very, very good, very professional hitter. Had a beautiful stroke to the opposite field, correct?
Right.
Had a great eye, always a high average hitter, and very solid defensively. Came to the Yankees and was good for us. That's what I remember.
I think he played 75 with us.
No. In 75, 76, he's busy being part of the Big Red Machine. When you're part of the Big Red Machine and you're like the afterthought, that's interesting. It goes to show how powerful a lineup they had. You had Griffey, Cesar Geronimo, and George Foster in that outfield, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm gonna look that up while you're chatting here.
Yeah, I do believe Griffey was part of that. There was another outfielder, first baseman Dan Dreesen, that was part of that team. The Big Red Machine.
I was way up, Jimmy. He was Griffey Senior.
Yeah,
with the Yankees from
early 80s.
Yeah, 82 through 86.
Yeah, he got to us in the early 80s.
Very solid.
He was good. You know what he would have been on the Yankee dynasty of the 90s? He would have been Tim Raines. As far as a bat, not as far as, what Tim Raines could bring in the field and running. But Griffey Sr. was a good ball player. He really was. And look, he was part of the Big Red Machine. I mean, geez. His son is the greatest baseball player I've ever seen in person. He just is. Everything about him. I've watched him climb the walls at Yankee Stadium. I watched his swing. There were very few guys that had a swing that was just so burned into your brain once you witnessed it in person. And Griffey launched the ball into the upper deck. I'll never forget watching Darryl Strawberry hit home runs with his particular swing. Was something to really behold. I once watched Jim Thome almost try to hit it through the seats. Once it finally got in the upper deck, he hit it so hard. Jim Thome could really pound a baseball, Ben.
It's really funny, Jimmy. In the past 10 minutes, you've mentioned to me 3 of my favorite swings of all time. You got Griffey Jr., you got Strawberry, and you have Don Mattingly.
Yeah. They were all
phenomenal swings.
And they're all left-handed. Very interesting. Very interesting. So what is it about the right-handers? Do we have any beautiful swings for right-handers? And now you're going to force me to think. Like beautiful swings for right-handers. Because these lefties we're mentioning, it's obvious that their swings stand out. Darryl Strawberry's swing stood out. Ken Griffey Jr.'s fluid gliding through the ball and it goes into the next county. Stood out. Right-handers, whoever. Maybe it's just the physics of it all. Baseball is about physics too. I can't think of someone who looked that graceful.
I'd have to work at that one.
You
Offhand,
know who I would dare say had a graceful home run swing for a right-hander? Manny Ramirez. I mean it. What Manny Ramirez would kind of like glide through a ball, if you know what I'm saying, when he would hit one. He had a really he didn't have an overly aggressive swing. Not to me.
No.
I'm stressing to come up with a right-handed hitter who would.
Yeah, we'd have to do a little bit more research on that. Let's.
Yeah, it's not Giancarlo. I'll tell you that much.
No, oh God, no.
No.
Here we go. The two Bonds, Barry, Bobby.
Well, I want to see the rest of the list, but to me, this is really close to being a father-son Hall of Fame combination. And in recent years, I've reinspected and looked at Bobby Bonds' numbers and what he was at the time he was, and defensively, and all the stolen bases and the power. He's close, Benny. He deserves consideration. On a veterans committee, I could see him getting in. Bobby Bonds was kind of very special as his all-around ability when you think about it. Why is it that he fell between the cracks? Is it because he didn't get the 500 home runs or even 400 in his case? He was a power hitter with an incredible speed and an incredible glove. How did he fall between the cracks? Did he really not accumulate enough? Because as I look at his numbers, I'm like, you know what? From some of the guys I have seen get into the Hall of Fame, he's close.
I mean, you're talking about a guy who narrowly missed 40-40 in 73, 39 homers, 96 ribbies, 43 stolen bases, comes in third in the MVP, wins the Gold Glove.
What year is this? 73?
Guy did it all.
Was this 73 you said?
73.
Okay, I want you to do me a favor. If my memory serves me correct, fast forward almost like a decade to when he's on the Angels. Does he put up like a 37-106 like 10 years later or something?
1977 for the Cal Angels, 37 homers, 115 ribbies, and 41 stolen bases.
Okay, when was his last productive? When was his last productive season? What year?
Let's see.
Because I know he did at least a decade where he was pretty badass.
Yeah, well, next season 78, 31 and 90.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Hey, still stealing 43 bases at
he's
32.
The guy was a stud. He retired early. I know that much, but keep going.
Yeah, he went to the Rangers in 78, 29, 82, and 37.
That's a great
for the Indians next year, 25, 85, and 34. I mean, everywhere he's going, he's mashing and he's stealing bases.
Wow.
And he's playing, Gold Glove quality outfield.
The 1 year for the New York Yankees, read his numbers, 1975, please.
He is 32, 85.
32 home runs, 85 RBIs. How many stolen bases?
And 30 stolen bases. So he's 30-30.
And by the way, he hit those 32 home runs playing at Shea Stadium.
Right.
Because the Yankees were forced to renovate. And then we were playing at Shea in 74, 75. My father wouldn't let me go to the games. I had to wait for my first Yankee game for like 3 seasons, Benny.
Do you think he loses out by being in Willie Mays' shadow in San Francisco?
Yeah, I could see that. It's Willie Mays after all. Obviously, Barry comes along and just, come on. Barry Bonds is the most dangerous thing that probably ever walked to a plate. Chuckle if you want, whatever. I saw what I saw, and they counted it, and everybody was roided up back in the day, whether they're throwing it or hitting it or whatever they're doing with it. It was the most frightening thing that ever came to the plate. Who the hell's getting intentionally walked with the bases loaded? Come on, stop.
You have 2 guys with 1,094 home runs between the 2 of them.
I think it's probably going to wind up as when we're done with the list as the greatest father son combo. That's my gut, and I still feel like if I was on a veterans committee and they asked me, "Do you think he should be in the Hall of Fame?" I would start with three key words: after further review. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, because there was no one else doing that. Think about the power hitters that played during the 70s. Basically, his biggest numbers come in the 70s, correct? So you
Yes.
think about
Yes.
it. Jim Rice, prolific. Is Jim Rice stealing 37, 43, 30 bases or whatever? No. No, he's
No.
not. George Brett was a prolific hitter during the 70s. Is he doing that? No. Schmidt? No. Reggie Jackson? No. This is very special baseball player.
Yeah. Very unique. And I mean, to me, like, if not the best of his generation, damn close, right?
Yeah. I don't know if he was as surly as his son. I know that his son
Rumor is he was, but who knows?
well, if he was, then that might have played into some of it. And if he wasn't good with the media, that might have played into some of it. How many home runs did Dick Allen have in his career? It was less than 400. Let's not, you don't have to look it up,
Yeah,
but
let
I
me
mean,
let's look.
it,
I'm going to say
it was
318 without looking, but hang on.
right. He might have had more. I'm going to hope that he had at least like 360 or something. I'm hoping, but Dick Allen, but,
351.
okay, that's fine. That's what's made me re-examine.
351.
That's what's made me re-examine Bobby, because I thought to myself, you know what? And Dick Allen, I always felt should have been in the Hall of Fame. I always felt that way. So when he got in, I was like, good. Then I start to think about Bobby, and I'm like, you know what? Bobby was very special, very special. Mickey, before he hit the drain
Well, I
ditch,
mean,
was,
Allen's,
was a power hitter with speed, and that's what Bobby was his whole career.
yeah. Allen he's got him beat on average. He's got a 292 batting average.
Yeah.
But Bobby's got him as far as the stolen bases. Allen stole 133. He was not a base stealer, and Bobby's got him on defense.
Did you just tell me that Bobby Bonds' career batting average was 292?
No, Dick Allen's was.
Dick Allen 292. What's Bobby's?
Bobby's, I think, was 268. I'm going to double check.
Interesting. Okay. Well, there's other guys with not the greatest averages, but that's not to
But
me.
Bobby's got,
horrendous average.
Bobby's got the defense. Bobby's got the stolen bases.
He's got the power. He's got the RBIs.
He's got the power, the ribbies. 268.
Okay,
yeah.
You know what? I'll take it, especially with all those the power numbers, the RBIs, the stolen bases. I'll take it. Great all-around defense, speed. Great all-around ball player.
Yeah.
Quick trivia for you. Bobby Bonds was traded to the California Angels by the New York Yankees before the '76 season. Who did they get in return?
Oh shit!
Don't look it up.
I thought you were gonna. Wasn't
Don't
he
look
traded?
it up.
No, I'm not. I was gonna say he was traded to the Giants from Mercer, wasn't he?
No, he was obtained by the Yankees from Mercer, but when he was
Right.
yes, he was which broke Bobby's heart. By the way, we all know that, right? Bobby Mercer was devastated by being traded. So the one season Bobby plays for us, and then he's traded in the offseason to the California Angels. Who did we get that helped us win the pennant in '76?
I'm clueless.
Nice. Well, you're going to like this one because this turned out to be the steal of the century for us because of the end result. Not that Bobby wouldn't have contributed to a championship team with the Yankees. He was traded for Ed Figueroa and Mickey Rivers. Hello.
Oh my God! Wait, what a trade!
Well, think about that. You wind up getting your leadoff
Talk about
center
like
fielder.
Pieces in the puzzle.
And think about what a fleecing it really was, because Bobby had speed, so you got the speed, because Mickey, I think, stole 52 bases his first year with the Yankees and hit 326 when they got to the pennant. You've replaced the speed. You got good defense, because Mickey was a good defensive outfielder. Nobody ever talks about that. Not much of an arm, but he never really had to, because he always caught everything.
Right.
Yeah. And you wind up getting the first, if I'm not mistaken, pitcher from Puerto Rico to win 20 games, Ed Figueroa. Ed Figueroa, I think it's a bit of a surprise, but in '77, '78, the guy I think who led the team in wins, or at least was in second, was Figueroa. Had to be Guidry, because Guidry had the 25 win season and the 16 wins in '77. So But Figueroa both years won 19 and then won 20 games or whatever. Figueroa was huge. So that was a big steal. See, and it also shows Bobby Bonds' worth when they traded him. Look what they got in return. It wasn't traded for a bag of balls, is what I'm getting at. Bobby Bonds was great. I guess that's what I'm getting at.
Figueroa wins. The first 3 years of the Yankees, Figgy wins 55 games.
He had the simplest delivery, too. Do you remember? There was nothing exciting about Ed Figueroa. He just lift his leg. He'd stand sideways, lift his leg, and throw the ball.
No, like very little wind up or nothing.
Yeah, no wind up. He just like stand there sideways and lift his leg. I was like, what are you peeing on a fire hydrant? You know?
And he threw the sinker and they got a lot of ground ball out. So remember that.
Yep. So that was the trade. But
guys just used to beat the ball into the ground.
Yeah. Ed Figueroa was fantastic, and then he had an arm injury, and that's why he fell off the cliff.
No.
Yeah, he fell right off the cliff.
Very underrated pitcher.
Very key. Right, so very key to our run.
Who we got next?
Yeah.
Got the Alomars. Sandy Jr., and Roberto.
You know, I got very early memories of Sandy Alomar Sr. being the catcher for the, not the starting catcher, but being a backup to Munson during the 70s. Do you remember that?
Sandy Sr. actually was a second baseman. Sandy Jr. was a catcher. Sandy Sr. was actually a little guy. You can't even see here.
Senior never did any catching whatsoever? Because on the baseball court, for some reason.
Let me check that.
Don't forget, it's over 50 years ago. So, I remember him being on the Yankees, though. I know that much.
No, he was on, for sure. And let's see, Sandy Alomar.
He struck me as a multiple position player, Sandy Alomar Sr., not just strictly,
Let me see. So he played for the Yankees in 74,
right,
75, 76, and let me see what he played.
No outfield at all? They didn't move him around as he got older?
No, he played for the Yankees.
Well, Willie's not there yet, so it makes sense he was at second base.
No, he played all but about 10 of his games at second base. He played about 9 or 10 games at short, played a couple at third.
Okay, he moved them around.
Well, I guess.
All right.
Yeah. But Sandy Jr. was the.
Well, yeah, we all know that Roberto's the best of the bunch, obviously. Was Sandy like? He wasn't impressive statistically, senior.
Sandy was 5'9", 100, according to Baseball Reference website. 5'9", 140.
What?
Little guy. Yeah.
Wow.
He was a little guy. Sandy Senior. Now Sandy Jr. different story.
Yeah.
Sandy Senior played for let's see, 15 years with 6 different teams, mostly the Angels.
What's his lifetime numbers?
He's a 245 average.
Right.
He was known more for his glove. He made one All-Star team. Stole some bases. Nothing really. Nothing else. He was just solid.
I remember him just being there. Yeah, for some reason I was thinking that he backed up Munson. I must be. Oh, I got him crossed up with Elrod Hendricks. I'm flashing back to baseball card images from when I was a kid, when you'd stick them in your bicycle spokes or flip them against the wall. And for some reason, I was seeing a catcher. Now I'm realizing it was Elrod Hendricks. Why does Elrod Hendricks, and you know something? I bet you if you looked up his career, it's similar to Sandy's. Anyway. Although Ellie did get the ring.
As far as time frame,
Yeah, but he did get the ring as a starting catcher with the O's, right? When the O's were the O's, the Orioles, Elrod Hendricks.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It was him and Andy Etchebarren.
Okay, so that puts him way ahead of Sandy Sr., so I apologize, Mr. Hendricks. But I bet you his numbers were no better. He wasn't much of a offensive prowess either.
No, Hendricks was not, and he's more of a defensive catcher.
Tell me about Alomar Jr. Tell me about Alomar Jr. I'd love to hear this body of work. Can you
Alomar Jr. played for let's see, for a total of 20 years.
Long time. 7
teams, mostly the Indians. 11 seasons with the Indians. Decent 273 lifetime batting average.
Nice. Very good.
Yeah, 112, 568, 588, not much power.
Okay, a modest hitter.
1,236
A
hits.
Modest hitter.
But rookie of the year,
Okay.
won a Gold Glove and made 6
Nice.
All-Star teams. I mean, not a slouch.
Good career. He was good. He's definitely not a slouch. I remember him being very emotional, which I love out of a catcher. Look, you got to have that, man. You got when you're a catcher. You ever notice that the kookiest guys are always a catcher? You ever wonder why when Andre Dawson is mad and he can't get to the pitcher, that the only reason why he can't get to the pitcher is because Gary Carter is stopping him? You know, it's there's something about a catcher. And I will say this about Alomar Jr. That guy lived, breathed, and died by every pitch of every game. I did love his intensity. The guy was a catcher's catcher. And it's nice that he made 6 All-Star teams. You know, it shows that you don't have to be Thurman Munson or put up those kind of numbers to be appreciated. You know, so, he was good. He was good. But then there's the greatest of all.
Senior was 5'9", 140. Junior was 6'5", 200.
Now, how's that happen? Is mom like a former WNBA player? I mean, how does that?
Who knows?
How does that happen?
And Roberto eclipsed all of them. Roberto Alomar, totally different story.
How did you feel when he spit on the ump? What was your thoughts when he spit on the ump?
What happened to him? I forgot. Did he get suspended?
Well, he was very angry at the umpire, obviously, over a call that he didn't agree with, and he was, he got real close, and they touched, and he spit in his face, and he was suspended, and it was a big deal. A lot of people had made up their minds then about Roberto Alomar. What did you think when that happened? I'll tell you what I thought. I thought to myself, shit happens. Was I happy that he did it? No. But, I mean, what are you gonna do? They obviously heavily fined.
Some of these guys are just like, they're competitors. I mean, I'm sure he regretted it, but, it was the heat of the moment. I don't think he meant to spit on the guy, but.
Is there really a better second baseman in the history of this game
than Roberto? You'd be hard pressed to find one. I mean, he's definitely Mount Rushmore.
Yep. Did we come to the conclusion that it was Roberto? I can't remember. Now we're going to have to go back and watch our own library on Baseball Bums. I do believe we did positions by positions, and I wonder. Now I have to go back and check for ourselves. Hey, what did we say about this?
Right. Go to the Bums archive.
What's his lifetime batting average? Let's go there.
Right at 300.
Nice.
Over a 17-year career. 2,724 hits.
Okay.
210 homers, 1134 ribbies. Stole 474 bases. 300 BA.
Gold gloves.
10 Gold Gloves.
10?
12 All-Stars.
Well, yeah, case closed.
10 Gold Gloves.
Yeah, that closed.
2 World Series. Probably. Yeah, he did it all.
Yeah.
Guy did it all.
Remember that Blue Jays team? He was part of that Blue Jays team. My God.
Yes, sir. He sure was.
Boy, what a team that was for those 2 years. That was fantastic.
Let's see, who do we got here? We got the Vlads, the Guerreros. The jury's out on young Guerreros, kind of too young to really make an assessment. The dad was a masher.
The dad was Yogi Berra.
Hall of Fame. Let's see, MVP.
You know what I mean when I say that, right? The dad was Yogi Berra. He swung at pitches that aren't supposed to be hit. And when they asked Yogi, the famous quote, "I see him, I hit him." Vlad Guerrero once got a base hit up the middle with a ball that bounced before it got to the plate. You remember that?
Yes.
The pitcher fell short of the goddamn catcher. The ball took one bounce straight to the plate, and he hit it for a single. What? Vlad Guerrero was insane.
I'm just looking
By the way, what about his arm? What about his arm?
4, 5, 7, 8.
Oh man, that guy.
No, and surprisingly, no Gold Gloves. He
did not.
Yeah. Now he did have known as a base stealer, only 181 career steals, but he
Right.
decided, I guess, in 2002 at the Expos,
Yeah.
39 homers, 111 ribbies, 40 steals, 336
Wow.
batting average.
Wow. What was his career average? He was the
Yeah, the
300.
guy. I'm looking 1,
By the
2,
way,
3,
right-hander.
4, 5, 6,
Right-hander.
7, 8, 9.
High career batting average,
Yeah,
right-handed.
11 seasons in a row, 11 consecutive seasons in the top 25 in the MVP. Most of those are in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
He won it. He won third twice, fourth. The guy was a stud. 318 career batting average for a righty.
Right. Right-handed hitter. There it is, right there. Same as Kirby.
And 449, 1496. The guy, he did it all.
Yeah. Yep. He was.
The kid. I think the kid just signed that. That. Did you freeze?
No.
Oh.
I think there's something going on with your audio as far as my ability to hear. You broke up a little bit to me, and then you were gone. But
all right.
as far as the kid goes, the jury is out with the kid. I can't figure out if he's great or not. He has moments of greatness. I already don't like him because of the dynamics that he's already said about the Yankees in the past, and then he's trying to take it back now. He was like, over my dead body would I ever be a Yankee? And then now I heard he's trying to take that back a little bit, probably for leverage purposes, if he's free agent or whatever.
Right.
I'm not sure what to think of. I'm not sure what to think about him. I never was not sure what to think about his father. So now he's not his father.
Right. Dad great, son question mark.
Yeah.
Here's the two Alus, Felipe and Moises.
Okay.
Well, to me, both very good, right?
Moises?
You think Moises?
Only very good.
Let's see.
Can you put? I don't feel only very good in Moises' case, but go ahead. Let me see.
Okay, Felipe definitely very good, right?
Yes, Felipe very good. Yes, Moises,
we got 6 All-Stars. You got, let's see. Yeah, you know what, Jimmy? I 2134 hits, 332, 1287, lifetime 303 batting average.
Dude, that's a Hall of Famer.
Numerous MVP votes.
That's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, 6 All-Stars, World Series.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think he's. I've
right.
always
so great and very good.
Yeah, I've always felt that he, like, I think I said it last week when we were talking about the brothers, that I said that the next generation that came surpassed all of them by a mile, and I am referring to who we're referring to right now. Look at those numbers. 300 plus lifetime batting average on top of it.
Right, but so I'm going to go from 97 through
he's a terror.
2001. So 97 with the Marlins, he's 23, 115, 292.
Stop.
98 with Houston.
Wait. 97. What happened for the Marlins, please?
Yeah.
What happened?
Right,
they won the World Series.
Right?
He was part of a World Championship team. Go on, 98.
98. He is with the Astros. He is 38, 124, and 312. Comes in third the MVP. Wins the Silver Slugger. 99. He's injured. Didn't play at all.
Okay.
Comes back with the Astros in 2000. 30 homers, 114 ribbies, 355 batting average.
Wow. That's insane.
And then he follows that up with a 27, 108, 331.
Wow.
Yeah.
Studley. Now, wasn't he also part of the Cubs a few years later when they almost got to the World Series?
Well, here you go. So 2004 with the Cubs, 39, 106, 293.
There it is. This guy was
next year the power went down with he played for the Giants next year. Yeah, so 2005 at the age of 38 for the Giants, he's 1963, but he bats 321.
Nice.
Even for the Mets in 2007 at the age of 40.
Right.
Part-time player, 1349, hits 341.
Dude.
Crazy, right?
I think
All
he's
right,
a Hall of Famer.
I publicly stand corrected. He's great.
Yeah. Well, that's
He's
okay.
great.
I thought that what's his face was a freaking catcher when he was a second baseman, and the catcher was some other guy on my baseball cards. Go on.
Right. Yeah. So okay.
What are you gonna do?
Now I don't think they eclipsed the Bonds, but I mean,
No, I'm not. No, I'm not ready to go there. No, because Bobby was much better than Felipe. Agreed.
right. Actually, that's it. That was the last one. So
That's
who,
okay. So I got to give it to the Bonds family.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Is it even
gotta go with
close?
the Bonds family. Huh?
Is it close?
Is it even close? Not really.
You got great and like superb. I mean,
Yeah. Bobby might get in one day. He may never. I still want Dwight Evanson. So there's guys
yeah.
I'm mad about.
Well, that was fun. That was fun. I like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
now, Jimmy, I hate to be bringing one more time this greedy bastard up his name up, but
Uh-oh.
all right. I really want to hear. I really want to hear what you have to say about this. Juan
Okay.
Soto seems to be very, very good at putting his foot in his mouth. So this past week, he was quoted as saying, "It's definitely different. I had the best hitter in baseball hitting behind me," Soto told the New York Post this week, referring to Judge. "I was getting more attacked and more pitches in the strike zone, less intentional walks and things like that. I was pitched differently last year." So, Jimmy, two questions. One,
Yeah.
if he had it so good, why the fuck did he leave? And two, isn't this kind of a little bit disrespectful to Pete Alonso? Now, Pete Alonso is no Judge, but he's a solid ball player.
Pete Alonso is a guy who has hit 50 home runs in this city. 50 plus.
Yeah.
Pete Alonso never gets the respect he should get, but Pete Alonso is currently one of the prolific power hitting studs in this game. Still is. Yeah, it is a backhand, a slight backhand. If I'm Pete Alonso, I'm like, what the fuck? So yeah, I didn't think about that, but as you bring it up that way, yeah, I'd be thinking about that. Why did he do it? He did it for his own ego. Look, he's a Met not for $5 million more and one less year playing. He's a Met because he wants to be the guy. And that's what it comes down to. And this explanation is very soft. It might be very honest, though. So at least I'll give him that, because this is a very honest answer. They're not throwing the ball to me to get me out so they don't have to deal with Judge with me on. He's saying that.
Right.
And that's all fine and dandy, but you know what? It's showing to me that since you're only a few weeks in anyway, and just because you haven't bolted out of the gate the way Aaron has, doesn't mean you have to start explaining yourself. If I were him, I wouldn't have even given an analysis. I would have been like, "Yep, I'm struggling right now. I'll pick it up." Have I thought about it? Of course I've thought about it. I'll go home. I'll watch tapes. But yeah, I gotta get in the lane, get going. You don't have to be breaking it down this way for the fans this soon. To me,
isn't he stating the obvious though? I mean, don't you know that when you leave the Yankees, and now you're the guy like you wanted, but you're not gonna,
right.
You're not gonna get the pitches you got when
right.
when you were hitting the same lineup with Judge. I mean, you knew that, right? You had to know that.
I don't think he cared about that. Like I said, it gets back to ego. He wanted to be the big man on campus, and now he is. Look, the Mets are having success so far, correct? I mean, as a team, they're having success. He's lucky they're not struggling. If they were struggling and this is going on, this would have been a lot worse. He's very lucky right now that the Mets are playing well.
They're doing okay, and he's doing not so okay.
Right. And Aaron Judge is smoking him, but then again, we got a kid named Ben Rice that's smoking him.
And by the way, I think Alonso's leading the National League in ribbies too. His teammate.
Look, that guy's pissed off. I'll say one thing about Pete Alonso. It's pretty obvious he cares about the uniform he wears and the city he represents, and he gives a shit. You can't ask for much more from the poor guy. I thought he got disrespected the whole offseason. I wanted him. Didn't you?
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely.
I wanted him. Yeah.
He would have been a great... Yeah.
Yeah, to me, it would have been tit for tat. It's like, all right, you can keep what's his face for the next 15 years, and we'll take Pete. I don't think people are going to want to be looking forward to pitching to Pete and Aaron Judge. It
No,
sounded good to
Alonso. I
me.
think Alonso is only 30. I want to say.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's got some years ahead of him.
Is he the closest thing? Like, I don't know what it is about this, but for some reason, Alonso reminds me of Dave Kingman when he hits. When he hits, I'm not talking about his batting average or whatever. He just gives me a Dave Kingman vibe. Why?
He's definitely more productive than Kingman, but
Well, is he going to
average
wind?
wise,
Wait a minute. Is he going to wind up with 442 career home runs before we declare him more productive than Dave Kingman?
I think he's at like 230 right now.
Okay, that's not bad.
He'll hit 400.
I hope so. I don't see why not. But Kingman was a prolific home run hitter, though.
But Kingman would hit like 40 homers and 77 RBIs.
I know. Isn't that funny? Did you know?
Yeah, Alonso's going to do like 41, 30.
You know what freaked me out? I can't believe I was seeing this, but it looks to me like Adam Dunn. You remember him?
Oh, yeah.
He's got like, I think, 460 something home runs.
With like a 201 batting average?
Yeah, it blew my mind. I'm like, what? He has how many home runs? I'm like, is that possible? But give Kingman his due, though. Dave Kingman was the guy. The home run or strikeout guy back in those days.
I would, if the Mets were on, I would tune in and see if he was in the lineup. And I might not have watched the whole game, but I tried to time it that if he was up, I was going to watch his at bat.
You wanted to watch Dave Kingman hit, absolutely. Yeah. He was.
You wanted to see one of those guys. You wanted to see a moonshot.
He was one of those guys. Look, at the end of this season, Soto's whatever. Trader's going to have his numbers. He'll put up some numbers. It'll be fine. It really depends on how the team does at the end of the day. They seem to be okay. But I like Cohen's aggressiveness. We've talked about that before, too. I like that Cohen's aggressive and makes the risky move sometimes. Because you got to do shit like that.
Right.
You got to. I mean, will the Mets find their pitching over the course of the year? Will we? It's funny, with all the holes that we can find in either the Mets or the Yankees, we're both in first place, I think. So
yeah, I believe so.
Baseball's strange nowadays, my friend.
Baseball is Joe Garagiola wrote a book. Baseball is a funny game, and it sure is. All right,
it really is bizarre.
Our last topic of the evening. I thought it was going to be a quick show, but I guess we had a lot to say tonight. But
we had enough to say. I mean, show shouldn't be like, it's got to be an hour. Okay, talk about lawn filters for the
But I'm very active on social media. This is one that doesn't seem to want to die. As far as
wait a minute. Hold on. You're very active on social media, are you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really?
I don't necessarily post a lot, but I read a lot.
Oh, okay. That's different. I thought like you were like posting yourself at Grandma Sally's, like, this is what I'm having for breakfast.
I've kind of toned down on my posts. But I do read a lot of stuff, and not him.
I always know what you're having for breakfast.
Oh yeah.
I'm jealous, by the way. Those breakfasts look pretty damn good. Go on.
Oh yeah, you can't beat Grandma Sally's.
No,
great service.
It looks delicious.
Good food. Yeah, good conversation. I get to plug the podcast there. They love it.
Nice.
All right. We got Koufax on the left and Kershaw on the right.
Wow.
And there's an endless debate on who is the greatest Dodger pitcher of all time. And who's better between these two.
Wow.
Eerily similar stats.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that.
But except for one thing, Jimmy, which I know you're going to say.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to just say it?
Yeah,
I
go
mean,
ahead.
How do you know it's the same? How do you know it's the same thing that you're going to say? Aha.
Well, I would bet. I bet cash money on it.
Well, I'm not sure. Well, I'm really now the pressure's really on. But to me, it's the strikeout factor.
No, then I stand corrected. No,
that's why that's why I thought you were going to tell me what you're thinking before I said what I said. I mean, to me,
all right. No, I'm going to say that Kershaw is known as a very good regular season pitcher with a very spotty postseason record.
Correct.
Whereas Koufax was lights out in the postseason. I mean, lights out.
Okay. Do me a favor. What season did Koufax strike out the most in his career, and how many was it?
Okay. I know the number is 382.
That's ridiculous to begin with. All
Yeah.
right. And what's the
Let
most
me
Kershaw ever struck out in a season? I'm just curious.
let's see. So Sandy, uh, yeah, 1965, 26 wins, 8 losses, 8 shutouts, 382 strikeouts,
Oh my God.
while walking only 71.
With that kind of velocity going on. Wow.
Right. 20,
All right.
27 complete games, which, by the way, I don't think Kershaw even has in his career. But let me
No, I wouldn't. Yeah. Wow.
Kershaw, his watermark in Ks.
Yeah.
He did hit. Wow. In 2015, he did strike out 301 in
Right.
232 innings.
Yeah, he was something. You know what's funny? As I'm looking at these two, I would go with Koufax, but as I'm looking at these two, there's a left-hander that I'm probably taking over both of them, and his name is Randy Johnson. As I look at these two.
Okay, no, I agree. I'm talking. We're just talking to Dodgers here, but I would agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I'm taking
just
Randy.
thinking about dominant lefties. Now Kershaw, I feel, is a Hall of Famer. Should get in. It's a different generation. How many wins does he have in his career? Has he even cleared 200?
He's 212 wins,
Okay,
94
good.
losses.
Okay,
Winning
that's
percentage is
insane.
693.
Yeah, that's insane.
ERA
That's 2.12
2.50 ERA.
2.50. Jesus God. Yeah.
Yep.
In this day
His
and age.
lifetime WHIP walks. His WHIP is a career 1.01, which for guys over 1,000 innings, he might be the best ever.
Yeah. Well, if you're talking about a body of work, Kershaw has the superior career. But if you're talking about a dominant time frame, like the way Sandy did, and the ring factor, like you said, clutch postseason. If I have to pick someone for a game, and it's the World Series, I'm picking Sandy Koufax. I'm sorry, but am I really losing if I pick Clayton Kershaw? No, except he'd have to prove to me what Sandy already proved to me in the past, because history books are history books, and Sandy Koufax has the championship. So,
I mean, when you
Sandy.
look at
Sandy's
body of
I
work,
want Randy. I want the 6'10" lunatic that killed us in the
but
2001 World Series.
Sandy to me is Koufax to me is like Magnum TA almost in wrestling. His last 4 years from 63 through 66. I'm gonna have to do this in my head. Let's see, 44. So 97 wins and 27 losses. ERA way under 200. And Amir.
Oh my God.
31 shutouts and 89 complete games. Wins 3 Cy Youngs.
Yeah.
And 1 MVP. The only reason why he didn't win the 64 Cy Young was because at that point still it was only one, between the 2 leagues combined. And I think Dean Chance won it that year.
Okay.
For the Angels. But yeah, he could have easily won 4 straight Cys.
Yeah,
and then he was done.
It's got to be. Yeah, Sandy is like, I hate to bring up football players on a baseball show, but Sandy was the rocket in the sky the way Gale Sayers was for a short time period, Hall of Famer, and Terrell Davis from the Broncos for a 5-year period, Hall of Famer. These guys just orbited into the stratosphere, had their incredible run, and then were gone. Sandy wrecked his arm. Let's face it. Sandy had a look at the motion, by the way. Look at these different approaches in pitching, yet they both were crippled by injuries, correct?
Yeah. Kershaw
Kershaw's had his share of problems. Yeah.
Back problems.
Yeah.
And Koufax with the arm.
Yeah.
Well,
don't think that a pitching motion has nothing to do with your back problems. It does. So whatever.
He's got a very unusual windup. I mean, he really is herky jerky.
Look at that right there. I mean, what is that? You know, is that like super Al Leiter? Because I think of Al Leiter when I see that particular freeze frame that we're seeing with Clayton Kershaw right now. I don't know why I'm thinking Al Leiter, but it seems to be something strange. Did Leiter have a lot of injuries? I think he did too, didn't he?
Oh yeah. Oh, he did. He did too.
Yeah. But look at Sandy though, the high leg kick, and you look how low his arm is hanging right there, Sandy's,
Right.
as he's holding the baseball, and you know that he's going to turn this into a whip as he throws this thing. So my God, his shoulder must have gotten torn to shreds.
Yeah. You know how
Absolutely.
sad that it took all that time before, because he knocked around for a while. Let me go back here. I mean,
It's almost like Nolan Ryan, right, with the bouncing around until somebody figures that, not
yeah,
necessarily bouncing
he
around,
broke
but
into the bigs in
yeah,
1955, and
right,
even as late as 1960, he's 8 wins, 13 losses with a
right,
3-point. Yeah, so he
yeah, it
finds
came out of
himself.
nowhere.
Yeah,
Yeah, came out of nowhere. He was just like a struggling scrub. To be fair, it was a
how funny is
terrible.
that though? Like, all of a sudden
Yeah,
after like 8-9 years in the bigs, all of a sudden it's like, wait, I got it now.
right. You know, I need
And
to read some books on him and understand further how that light bulb went off and what happened to make him all of a sudden, I've got this. It's just like, yeah, well, you got it like no one's seen in 100 years. How did that happen?
well, I mean, he always had the stuff. You gotta, I mean, and I'm surprised, like with all the great pitchers over the Dodgers, history, that there wasn't somebody who worked with him. I'm sure there was. Maybe it just
You
took
know
him
what he
that
would,
long to get it.
you know what he would have been today, right? He would have been a closer, and he would have had a long career.
Right.
Because look at that stuff. I mean, and look what happened to his arm. I mean, he could have been a closer for like 15 years.
Or is he a 6 inning starter and he never loses because
Well, nowadays, yeah, he could go out and pitch 5 innings, but quite honestly, with that kind of shit, I'd want him closing all my games because then I could go 79-2 with a lead after 7 innings.
Yeah, I mean, who's going to
You
hit
know,
a fresh Koufax in the 9th inning?
you're not going to hit him, and oddly enough, as we go back to Randy Johnson, remember what happened in the World Series? Who came out of the goddamn bullpen to
Right.
pitch? Randy Johnson. Oh my God, how do we get rid of this guy? You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Right.
my idea would be make Koufax a closer. Make him a closer so he has a nice long decade plus career. Gets himself 400 saves and waltzes into the Hall of Fame or whatever the hell. He was going to
Yeah.
waltz in anyway, but we would have saved him a lot of shoulder problems. I'll tell you that.
Right. Well, I mean, I would say that, like you said, body of work, Kershaw wins, but in terms of utter dominance over a short period of time, to me, it's not even close.
Yeah, it's Sandy. I mean, every story I've ever heard about Sandy Koufax, almost nobody could hit him, especially during those years. Untouchable.
Well, I mean,
Untouchable.
Yogi Berra made the comment when he was it in '63? That's when they swept. He was 25-5, ERA 1.88,
Mm.
20 complete games, 11 shutouts, 306 strikeouts. His WHIP was .875. I mean, and Yogi said, I understand why he won 25 games. I just don't understand how he lost 5.
Right.
And that's from Yogi.
Yep. Yeah, he killed our hopes and dreams. He killed yours. I just found out today that's the first time you saw a World Series, right?
That was my first
remember.
World Series, and I'm thinking, like,
Ouch.
yeah, it hurt because I mean, all I had, and by then I had read, even at 8 years old, I had read a number of baseball books, and I knew what the Yankees were about.
Right.
So, like, I'm thinking, okay, they made the World Series, they're going to win like they always do.
Right. Right. Oddly enough, my first experience with the Yankees was when they got swept as well by the Big Red Machine. So we have that parallel to
Yeah, and
Right.
the next year was only slightly better, but
right. 64 with the Cardinals?
Yep, lose in 7 games. Fire Yogi, hire Johnny Keane, which was an absolute disaster.
Yep. And then you got to enjoy like a bunch, like 9 or so seasons straight of complete garbage until George
you
came
got
around.
you got the Mike Burke CBS era, and thank God for George Steinbrenner. Thank God for George Steinbrenner.
He saved us. He saved us. He made us big time again.
Can you imagine if he didn't buy the Yankees? Oh my God!
No, I can't.
I didn't want to think about it.
I can't imagine it. He was exactly what the franchise needed, and he took them into another orbit. He did everything to make them bigger, and it's funny too. Numerically, the Yankees had won 20 World Championships before George came into power, and they had done it between 1923 and 1962. So when you look back on somehow George pulled this off. When you look back on, because baseball had changed by the time George had bought the team. then free agency. Baseball's completely different from the years I aforementioned where the Yankees had won all those championships. Somehow, in close to 40 years of owning the team, basically he got 7 championships. Now, in the past, that wouldn't have been acceptable, but during his time, he won more World Series than anybody else. He took the Yankees to a global brand stature. Legends were built during his tenure, whether it was Reggie becoming Mr. October or the great Yankee dynasty that happened later, Donnie Baseball. So many different things that George oversaw and was part of.
Restoring dignity to a great franchise, making them, making you proud to be a Yankee fan again when, we were quite depressed for years.
Yeah, well, he was proud to be a Yankee. He was proud to own the team. He's the best thing that ever happened to us as baseball fans. I'm sorry.
And it was so funny when I read about, 72, 73, it's like, who the hell is this guy? He's a shipbuilder from Cleveland. What the hell is he going to do for us?
He always had Vince McMahon showmanship, though. I mean, after all, we are wrestling guys, too. And he always had the showmanship. He knew what would attract fans, and he also knew how to build winning teams.
Yep.
He was an all-around smart guy. Did he make mistakes? Of course he made mistakes, but he succeeded much more than he failed. History says so. What was it, 11 pennants and 7 championships in his tenure? Guys, stop it. Who else can say stuff like that?
He was the boss. I mean, he was the leader. Nobody questioned it. Not
like today, where we've got a passive. I try to give Hal a break. I do, but it's not. It's just not the same. I don't feel the aggressiveness. I don't feel the urgency. I don't feel the passion. I feel like they've got the corporate thing down, and that's all fine and dandy. But we needs a championship, Benny. It's enough.
Yeah.
Enough whining, by the way, with all our rings. By the way,
it's been way too long.
Yeah, it has. But that's the thrill of watching every year, no matter who you root for. You hope for the best, and every year gives you a fresh start. So far, so good. We're in first place.
Right.
To my surprise.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I knew we had a good team. I mean, even, without Soto, I thought we were going to be competitive. I got kind of concerned with, with Cole and with Luis Gil, but we always seem to be able to find some replacement talent. We're very good at that. And, yeah, I mean, we're competitive. We're not getting blown out. Judge is, and then that's the other part. Judge, leader that he is, he's picking up the slack. He's stepping up his game as if that's even possible.
Yeah, but it's just like I told Monty. To me, this season will probably be slow torture. They'll be good enough to hopefully get to the playoffs and get in and stuff, but I don't look at them like a championship team. I just refuse to take the bait. They're going to have to prove it by actually winning the whole damn thing before I go, wow.
Well, they're certainly not going to be dominant. I mean,
no, I don't see that at all. I don't see that at all. That's why
they're going to be eking wins out.
That's why I kept my expectations low. To me, asking for 93 wins, like I was, when we were trying to make a prediction on a number, is low. I'm not happy with 93 wins. The Yankee teams that win World Series usually win more than that. The only time they didn't win more than that was the 2000 Yankees team that melted down in September. They had a great record. Everything was fine. And then they went like 3-18 in September of the year that they would eventually win the World Series. It was the goofiest thing I'd ever seen. I don't know if you remember that, but
I do. That was very odd.
Yeah, and
even,
I think
even
they won like
88
or 89. No, they won 87 games, for God's sake. Somehow they won the division. Won 87 games. And then went untouchable in the playoffs, like 11-2 or whatever the hell they were.
They turned it on when it mattered.
Yeah, they did. That they did.
All right, my friend, we're going to put a bow on this. Another great episode of the Baseball Bums is in the record books.
Yep.
And if you love chatting about the great game of baseball, you're definitely in the right place. And if you're looking for some great wrestling and even some epic non-wrestling content, please hit the like and subscribe button and become a part of the Monty and the Farrow family. And we are truly family. Mr. Farrow, would you do the honors and lead us out?
You've been watching the Baseball Bums, and until next week, later.